We are really looking at friendship and how this has evolved. The friendships we had home and the friendships we have here.
When we speak now, it is like where we left off the conversation.
Wow.
And that has been, with time, it has become much less because she has a job where she's working shifts, and me too, and we don't talk as much.
I have had many friends in the course of living in this country, and I've also had friends that I had back home who are still somehow friends, but they are no longer friends because I don't see them, and our lives are so different.
I have a difficult relationship with friendships, I think, because from the very beginning it was like where I grew up. I was kind of not wanting to have friends because I did not want friends to visit me where we were living. So I did not allow myself to get really tight with people.
Learning that not everybody, one person doesn't have to give you everything you need.
Yeah.
Because I think for me that this was also the problem, because normally I listen a lot.
When you're living in Kenya, you have these friends, you've grown with them, some of them, you've known them since you were children. And then you come here to a new country, and now you have to start building new friendships.
Yeah.
And it is difficult
It is. Yeah.
to start new friendships as an adult.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite conversations, Far From Home, Diaspora Conversations. We are glad once again to have you watch us, listen to us. I know we always talk about watching, and there are some people who only listen to us. So we are happy you're there listening to us. And we're happy to be here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, and before we continue, of course, we recognize our sponsors, TDX Media, and we appreciate that they've been working with us from the beginning. We'll tell you more about them as we go on. And now to our today's topic, one boy.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. And today we've brought another interesting topic. As you know, Caro and I promised that we will tell the truth or we don't talk about things.
Yes.
And our topic for today is not as explosive as our latest topics have been, but it's still an important topic. Today, we want to explore the whole area of friendship.
Platonic.
Yes.
Platonic.
No dating, no men, no sex stories today.
There can be men, but no.
Yeah. They can be men friends.
Yes.
But not the romance kind. We are really looking at friendship and how this has evolved. The friendships we had home and the friendships we have here. And also the friendships that have had to break up.
Yeah.
Because
for whatever reason.
So here I learned to break up with friends, normal friends. You're like, okay, this is not working.
Yeah.
So we want to look at the whole area of friendship and how important this is for us in the diaspora, how it has evolved, and what it means to us. So, Carol, I think this topic for me, it's important because I have had many friends in the course of living in this country. And I've also had friends that I had back home who are still somehow friends, but they are no longer friends because I don't see them. And our lives are so different. So, and when I came to Germany, I thought I was going to keep up with my friends back
in
home.
Kenya, yeah.
And I really tried. But I realized with time,
the distance.
Yeah. And even sometimes when I go home, I realize I have changed so much. What used to connect us no longer exists. I don't know. How has your experience been like?
Almost the same. There's a friend of mine, Eunice, her name. If you're watching, Eunice, I still love you. She is the friend I've had with whom, when we speak now, it is like where we left off the conversation.
Wow.
And that has been, with time, it has become much less because she has a job where she's working shifts, and me too, and we don't talk as much sometimes, really, which I'm not I'm not guilty. I don't feel guilty for not doing. In the beginning I was feeling guilty, like I was abandoning the friendship or something. Nowadays it's like when it happens, it happens. When we speak, and then we have a good laugh, a really deep conversation. And other than you, I think Eunice is the person who knows me more than anybody else. We would share things with Eunice, and at some point we had to open the doors and look if somebody is there, because they were just so deep things that you'd not want anybody else to hear. And I have her deepest secrets and she has mine. And I feel that, like, that is one true friendship that I had that has remained. Not as consistent as it was, of course, when I was living in Kenya, but still deep. Yeah.
Wow.
And I appreciate that a lot with Eunice. Oh, girl, we have done things, talked about things.
Partners in crime.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. But other than that, I must say that I think that I was thinking about this the other day. I have a difficult relationship with friendships, I think, because from the very beginning, it was like where I grew up. I was kind of not wanting to have friends because I did not want friends to visit me where we were living. So I did not allow myself to get really tight with people because I was always afraid of having them know me.
Too close.
I was avoiding that, getting too close to people. I had one girlfriend in primary school, I remember, because she was the only person who came to my place once, and because she had seen it, then I allowed it to be a friendship. But everybody else, I was just keeping, distance. And I was thinking even about now and the number of friends I have. I think I have not, there are people who have many friends.
Yeah.
Like you'll be talking to them and they're talking about this friend and the other friend and the other friend. And I don't have that.
Me neither. I
don't
can't
have
keep up
that.
with that.
Yeah.
No, I can't multitask.
Yeah.
A few
So,
friends.
yeah, just a few. And these have been really always very deep friendships. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I think it has also been the same. I think when I was home, and for me, these are the true friendships, are the ones that have really withstood this time. There actually is only two people. For me, I think my equivalent of your Eunice will be Kate, Janja. Janja, wherever you are, I love you. And this is someone we grew up together. And even like she saw me growing, and we had all these problems together, and going to study together and just really just holding on, and we used to tell ourselves stories of how we are going to make a difference. And even today when we speak, it's still that deep. We don't talk, sometimes we don't talk for a whole year.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it is with Eunice.
And it's amazing. When we start talking, it's always deep.
Yeah.
And she's also
and it always feels like it's where you left off.
Yes.
Without like blaming each other, without even asking, why don't you call me? Why? It's just
there's no
the way
blame.
it is. Yeah.
It's just a good friendship. And the other one, of course, is with Bessie. And this is a friendship that I took back on after years of not being friends. And also that remained a really, really a valuable friendship. And I think for me, why I say these are valuable friendships is because these are the two people who have told me the truth about myself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They saw me. They were not afraid of telling me, no, you're wrong. But they
mm,
still, with that, they still remained. And I
mm.
think for me, this is why these friendships have been so valuable and we have withstood the test of
The
time.
test of time.
Yeah, such
Yeah.
that last year I actually went to Atlanta to visit Basic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And you had a really good time
we had a
there.
good time. And
Yeah.
Kate came to Germany to visit me.
Wow.
Exactly. So these were
Wow.
really, really, really important people in my life. Yeah.
Eunice was also here. She came to visit me
Oh,
here. Yeah.
good people, good
That was
friends.
really, really nice.
Mm,
Yeah. And
mm,
I hope she does that at some point again, Eunice. That
mm.
would be really nice.
Yeah.
Now she has a family, and that time she didn't have a kid. And yeah, it becomes a bit complicated when one
Yeah.
is not alone, but I
Yeah.
still hope that will happen at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I noticed that, of course, after you leave home, which is what makes the friendships or this closeness a bit tricky, because when you're living in Kenya, you have these friends, you've grown with them, some of them, you've known them since you were children. And then you come here to a new country, and now you have to start building new friendships.
Yeah.
And it is difficult
It is. Yeah.
to start new friendships as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not easy.
Especially when you're doing it intentionally. There is sometimes when you just go, you meet someone and you're like, I want to be your friend. Like, this is what happened with us. I
Yeah.
saw you had written something on Facebook and it spoke to me so much such that I wanted to know you.
Yeah, yeah.
But
same.
otherwise,
Yeah.
randomly meeting people,
It's difficult.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because there's so many questions you ask yourself about it, because friendship is trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have, in the course of time, got to know people here that I can call friends, that I also share now, apart from you, because with you there's this trust that was there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And we went really deep from the very beginning, that we could share a lot, and yeah. But I find myself always not, when you're not feeling like you can share everything, it's not like you don't like this person as a friend, but you don't trust them with your story somehow.
Yeah.
Because maybe you feel judged, maybe you don't know how this person would deal with that kind of truth that you're telling them. Because for you, I know, for example, if I tell you about Kenya and things that happened to me, you must not have gone through the same exact things, but you can understand these things in another,
there are things you don't have to explain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think a friendship needs that.
Yeah, and I'll not see shock in your eyes.
Yeah.
Something still shock you about me.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. But still, they're shocking, but not
in a judgy kind of a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not also in a pitiful kind of way.
Yeah. Also. Yeah.
And the other thing I also love a lot about our friendship, or maybe even that, what I had with Eunice, is the art of just listening and not wanting to give me advice.
Yeah.
So the problem I have with some friends, not all of them, some friends, even here in Germany, is I always feel less than. They know better. They have better lives. They,
make better decisions.
Make better
life decisions.
Make better, and you always feel insufficient somehow.
Yeah.
Because you're talking, and before even you finish talking, somebody's telling you what you can do better. This is how you can, and it gets tiring, and then at some point you just stop. You just stop
talking. Yeah.
Talking, because sometimes you don't want advice. Sometimes you just want to talk.
Mostly you do not want advice.
Mostly you don't.
Most people don't.
And if I want advice, I'll come and ask you specifically for how can I do this?
Yeah. And mostly when you have a problem, you are the expert for that problem.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I feel God gives us these problems and gives us all we need. You already know the answer.
Yeah.
Mostly what you need is empathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think,
somebody to sit with you in a dark room and just exist with you in that dark room without switching on the light.
And explore that. You know, like I was talking about my phone. When I talk about my phone breaking, what I need is not advice about the phone because I know where to get the advice. I can go ask Google.
Insurance.
And some people here in this room told me I should have got
insurance for your phone.
I should have. This is past tense.
Doesn't help.
Not helpful. You don't know help. Okay, no, we're not crying.
Yeah.
But you know, like trusting that I know these things. I know what should be done. I'm still just not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, a friend is also someone who knows you're not there yet, but trusts fiercely that you get there.
That you'll get there.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, the biggest problem with most people. And I cannot say I am a very good friend in that sense. I have learned a lot from you. Sometimes I have to like just breathe in and say, I don't have to say anything now. I don't have to give any advice. I don't have to, just be, just listen. And because I think that's also a problem with the kind of person I am, this controlling, trying to control every situation. Not because I know better, but sometimes I think like, I just want to help, I want to be.
You want to solve. You want to solve things, which is not necessarily something wrong.
It's not wrong, but because I know how nice it feels.
Yeah, to be listened
because
to.
of you, how nice it feels to have somebody who just listens. And at the end, maybe I had a big problem or it's still there, but I feel better. You did not try to change. You did not try to give solutions. You just listened. You repeated what I said. And I had it now from you. And it sounds, I understand it better sometimes when you just repeat what I said without doing anything more than that.
Thank you.
And that is something that, that makes our friendship so deep, I think. Whilst I try sometimes with the friends I have here, but nowadays I have learned to categorize them, not expect, and that comes with age. That is how I have evolved now.
Yeah.
Categorize these people and say, this friend is for this thing. This other friend is for, I don't party a lot, but there are people I will just, go for a walk with. And we can talk about the weather and not only, but, different friends for different things.
This is so important.
Yeah.
What you're saying, learning that not everybody, one person doesn't have to give you everything you need.
Yeah.
Because I think for me that this was also the problem because normally I listen a lot. This doesn't just come automatically, by the way. I have to out myself. I actually also did study about, I did a lot of human psychology during my studies and also listening, Beratungsgespräche, communication. I've done a lot of work when it comes to communication and how to communicate correctly because my work involves a lot of communication. But still also learning how to listen. I think this is something I am a listener, and learning how to listen correctly is also something I have had to learn also for my work purposes. But that also means that mostly I'm listening. And sometimes I need someone to listen to me. And this gets difficult because I have not established people who actually listen. And I also don't know how to ask for people to listen to me. I have never learned how to say, I just need you to listen. And I'm learning now to first of all, to ask for that. Could you just listen?
Yeah, yeah.
It's very hard. It's very hard
It's hard.
to communicate your needs.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
really learning. And also knowing with this friend, if I go to this friend, I'll have a good laugh. Like, with my friend Maureen, I always know by the time we are done talking, I will have
It
laughed.
laughed. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a given. I don't know how she does it, but she just has this talent of
Making you laugh.
making you laugh.
Yeah.
If I need spiritual talk, I go to this person.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah. Different people.
people for different needs, and this has given so much ease in all my relationships. Like even with my ex, and I think this is why our relationship even broke. Was I expected him to be everybody,
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
all these things, and this is too much work for one
Yeah.
person.
For one person. I think that's one must be very, very, very lucky when they get most of these things in one person. And especially when it's a romantic partner.
Yeah.
That is why we often, relationships often break.
Yeah.
Because you expect too much
too many expectations. Yeah.
From one person.
Yeah.
And that has come for me with age, where I know nowadays think there's a time I was sharing something with a friend. And this was just an experience I had that was very meaningful to me. And I was sharing it. And maybe this person received it in a way that I had put myself in danger. Here's a quick one to tell you about our sponsors, TDX Media. I've been working with TDX Media for about 5 years now, and this has saved my life, literally saved my life. TDX Media has a way of helping you to optimize your office work. So I am a very chaotic person. My office was looking like you can imagine it. And then TDX Media came, and they really helped me to optimize the processes, especially the processes of how I work, what should happen when, they came and advised me. They came and sorted out most of my files and all that, because I am not that. And then my website, it's beautiful because it is being maintained, it is being serviced by TDX Media. And then the CEO of the company, Christian Tiedemann, who does all that, comes to you, advises you, he talks to you, he listens to your needs, and then crafts everything according to how you need it, but adding his professionalism in everything that he does, such that at the end of it all, and he will not use anything he doesn't think is okay for the person visiting your website. So if your photos are not good enough, then he'll not put them in. And that is the level of professionalism that I need when I'm working with someone, so that they just don't do everything I tell them to do. They tell me, okay, it's your website, but it has my name on it. So he will not do anything that is not professional enough. And the other thing is event management. Guys, these guys are so organized. TDX Media is so organized. They have taken control and over. They organize our African festival, which happens every year. So I have nothing to do with it. The first year I organized it myself. I almost went crazy. And nowadays I just get calls, or when we're talking, it's a yes, no, and I have nothing to do with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love working with these people. I love the way they, present themselves in a way that is, I will talk about professionalism the whole time, because that is what they are. They are professionals. And you see that in everything they do. When they're doing consultations with you, they are very specific in everything that they're doing. You can only be satisfied when you're working with TDX Media. And I'm so glad that I have trusted us now to sponsor our podcast. And I've been working with them all this time, satisfied with their work. I'll continue working with them. So please visit their website, www.tidix.de. That's www.tidexx.de. Visit them, because you'll be doing yourself a favor. Thank you so much. So before I even continued, I had started telling, and the way the conversation started was like I was in this situation that I did not have control. And this person was like, you should inform me, you should call me. They're showing their care. They're showing that they're there for me. And I was like, I know that. I know that I can call you anytime I'm in any kind of danger. You're the first person I would call because I know you're always there. But I'm also a grown woman.
Yeah.
Meaning I cannot just get myself into dangerous situations just like that.
You must have thought about it.
I must, yeah. And what I need from you right now is to just listen.
Yeah.
And this person was like, oh, okay, yeah. True.
And that's also a good friend. Someone who once you tell them, no, actually I don't need all that.
Yeah.
I need these.
Yeah.
And someone who says, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
This is what
but
you need. I'm
also
gonna give
it's
this.
also how you communicate
It's how
that.
you communicate.
Because
yeah.
what does it call bestätigen? I affirmed their position of them being the friend who would come.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time saying that in the beginning for them to understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you're the first person I would call if this thing happened. And I know wherever, it doesn't matter what time of the night, you would be there for me. So you're the first person I would call. But I was not in danger and I was not, just listen until, let me tell this story to the end. And I was like, oh, okay. And
wow.
Yeah.
It's also a good learning experience.
Yeah.
But now
to communicate.
Going back to the friendships in Kenya, why do you think, or what was it for you that made these friendships, at least most of them, not last, even if they were really good friendships?
Time.
Yeah, time.
Space. Because sometimes you're with this person at this particular stage of your life, like for example, high school. So you have these intense relationships in high school and you're feeling really, really tight with each other. And then after 4 years, you're going your separate ways. You live in different towns. And most of those friendships did not really continue after that.
Yeah.
So it was not like we were breaking the friendship. It was just, it had done its time.
Yeah. The time for
this relationship was
over.
And then now I think also, do you mean when I was in Kenya, the friendships in Kenya, when I was living in Kenya, or after I came to Germany?
After.
Just to understand.
Let me just tell you also why I'm asking this. It's because like for me, I had really, really good friends. And I noticed that as soon as I got here, there was that hierarchy.
Okay.
And I know, I felt like I was no longer allowed to have problems.
Yes.
I felt like me coming here had taken away the equality in this friendship, such that there was no longer anything else to talk about. They would tell me their problems, but if I tried to talk about my problems,
they could not understand.
They could not understand, which were big problems. Language.
Yeah.
Money.
Loneliness.
Yeah. Being the only Black person in a whole village.
Yeah.
So, and every time I would want to talk about that, it was like, yeah, but you're in Germany. Come on, make the best out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know how often I heard this.
Ignore,
make the best.
you can.
Why does that bother you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I feel like it's like what you're saying, this shared experience, when this shared experience doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I think friendships have to have a common ground.
Yeah.
You have to have something in common that, and when you're in Kenya, you have the same problems you have. That is why it is also much, much easier to talk to you because we have a common ground.
Yeah.
So when you leave that ground and you're here, and we all know what happens when, you go abroad, Maju.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks now your problems are over. You're now in this higher place and you must be okay. And they cannot really understand what goes on here.
Yeah.
But I can understand what you because we are here now together. And that takes another level of understanding and deeper friendships. And then of course you're talking to these friends, what you're saying, and because you don't feel heard and understood,
you
at
need
some
to
point,
look for someone else.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember when I was telling Eunice, I separated from Wangi. She was like, why? He was such a nice guy. Yes, he was, but you were not living with us here. I've told you some things, but things got different. Yeah, but the sex was good. Yeah, but there are other things that they cannot understand things to the level of what is happening here. And that is why I think it's difficult to maintain those friendships. It became a bit easier when she came and saw how I live here, how my life is like. And she could understand a lot of things. She could understand the difficulties of, just having your German in-laws around you. And she was like, oh my God, Carol, how do you survive this?
Yeah.
When she was in Kenya, I was telling her, yeah, okay, just get away from her.
Away,
yeah. Why does that disturb you? And then she was there and she experienced it. Do you know she was sometimes not coming to eat?
Wow.
Because she said, I cannot stand that. I was like, you see?
Yeah.
You see
Now
what I'm
that
talking
is the
about?
problem. Yeah.
And it's, the level of, you cannot communicate some of these things.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
No,
and when
you
that
have to have the
communication
experience.
breaks, of course, the friendship doesn't have the same weight anymore.
Yeah.
It's really, difficult.
It is.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to intentionally break a friendship?
Yes.
What happened? Would you like to share?
Not. I won't go into the details.
Not the details, but how you did it.
It was a friendship that was really meaningful, very, very meaningful to me. But then at some point, something happened that crossed a line of my deep conviction, my very deep convictions of how things should be. And when that line was crossed, I could not.
There was no going back.
There was no going back. And later, later is always later. I came to understand why things were happening like that, or understand myself why I reacted like that to that situation. And I kind of also felt the need to explain, but the friendship was already broken. I also wasn't trying to repair the friendship because I still felt that was not the right thing to be done when it was done. But I felt the need to explain myself why I reacted in that way. But there was no chance for that. But I still felt like it was okay to end the friendship. Yeah. And yeah. So it's difficult to go around everything without telling the details. But I had to break that friendship. And now, because there were some very meaningful relationships in that friendship, very deep, meaningful relationships, but everything had to go with with it. The friendship went with all the other things that were attached to it.
I find
which
that
is a pity.
I find that interesting to really consider, and I know this is actually putting you on the spot, but I find it interesting to look at friendships as also something that you can also actually choose to walk away from, because these are things that I never used to think that I could, walking away from friendship that are draining, friendships that no longer serve you. And this is something I'm just learning also. It comes with age, but noticing Actually,
It's not serving me
I no
anymore.
longer want to be in this
Yeah, in this friendship.
relationship
Yeah,
anymore, in this
yeah.
friendship anymore.
Mm.
And not waiting for it to die and
Mm.
avoiding the conversation,
You
but actually
actively
actively having the conversation.
of ending the friendship.
This is
Yeah,
not working.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
find it really, really interesting and
It's yeah,
courageous.
encourageous to
Yeah.
do, because friendships, they either just die off without
Yeah.
talking much, and
Mm,
but then the fact that now talking about, for example, people who come from Kenya.
mm,
So you come here and you, of course, don't know the Germans. You are
mm,
with, if you come with somebody like me, I had my husband, he's the only person I had.
mm,
You had your guest family, and then
mm,
later university. But
mm.
then you don't have so many people that you can start friendships with. There's
Mm.
also the language barrier.
There's also the language barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do? You pick the next person
Mm,
who you have common ground with,
yeah.
somebody from Kenya,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it's not necessarily somebody who would be your friend in Kenya.
It's
It's not
true.
it's not a friend you would choose
Yeah.
to have.
It was not a choice.
It was not a choice. It was
Mm,
the situation that forced you
mm,
to be with this person.
mm.
And then at some point you realize, oh my God, we have nothing in common.
Yeah.
The conversations,
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know,
It's yeah. This is also what I got to find out. Like of course, you need this at the beginning. You need
mm,
people who look like you, but
yeah,
when with
yeah.
time you realize, mm-mm,
No, I can as well be alone and I'll
yeah,
be better off.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes I also assumed like that because you come from Kenya, we're
Mm,
going to be alike.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because this is also what is subjected on us. Like
Yeah.
when you go to a different country, people will be like, "Oh, I know another Kenyan
Another
person.
Kenyan.
I'll bring you together."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But also learning with time that
Mm.
no, coming from the same
No,
country
does
means
not make
nothing.
us.
No, there is so many Germans that I am more alike
Mm,
with.
yeah.
Like when
Than
we talk, we are much much more on the same lane
mm,
than Kenyans.
yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
So I learned that not everybody who comes from Kenya should be my friend.
No. But I'm also careful. I have had many people saying, "No, I never get Kenyan
No,
friends."
that is not, no. It's the
Yeah,
person.
it's the
It's
person.
always the person.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from.
Mm,
For me, it's what kind of a person are you?
mm,
Are you somebody I can sit with and have a meaningful conversation with, or
mm,
laugh?
mm.
But when I start getting a headache from listening to you,
The way she's closing her
there are
eyes.
conversations that make you get a headache
I
immediately.
know. I know.
There's a lady I met from Kenya. I was in a salon in Essen,
Mm,
and there was a lady from Kenya.
mm,
So she had me talking on the phone. She had me speaking Swahili, and yeah, and you come from Kenya, and
mm,
and can we meet? That would be so nice.
mm,
And we met,
mm.
and within 30 minutes, I
You will
had
regret.
such a headache, and she was not loud.
No?
It's not like a Nigerian loud
I was
kind of.
assuming she was
No, she was not loud.
Mm.
She was just talking normally, but the kind of conversation she was, these conversations of talking about other people,
Oh, I hate that.
you should avoid Kenyans. You cannot have, and then you realize this is a person who has had problems with so many people, and now they're trying to get you away from this, making sure you don't even get in contact with these other people, because she wants to
yes.
have you now as a friend, because she
But
has
you have
nobody
to be
else.
enemies with the others.
You have to be
Otherwise they will know. They will tell you about her.
Yeah. And I was like,
dear.
It was so tiring.
Mm.
And of course, immediately I was like, this is not somebody
Yeah.
I want to have as a friend.
Yeah. For me, especially when someone tells me, "Oh, avoid so and so,"
Yeah.
and I've never met them, I already know
Yeah.
you're not my kind of a person.
And even if I've met them, sometimes, when somebody is telling you about somebody else, they'll be telling the other somebody about you.
Yeah.
So these kinds of conversations, I avoid. we are friends and we know each other. Sometimes we can talk about something that was posted on social media by somebody.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that, and it's not the kind of
Bitching. Yeah.
It's just taking that situation and talking about it.
And also talking about what it has to do with us as people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But this just, I cannot have friendships where we just talking about other people. And, we can talk about, we don't always have to have deep conversations. No, it doesn't have to always be that. We can also be talking about just shitty things and just laughing. You know?
Yeah.
But it's not anything that makes you think, oh my God.
Toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot stand that. And that's why I think I am very choosy when it comes to, I have to feel it. And that it's almost a spiritual thing for me. I have to feel you before I can take you as a friend.
Yeah, me too.
Or
definitely.
before I can even say you are my friend.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
takes time. Yeah. And I'm okay with the friendships I have now. I have somebody I can talk to so really deeply, or 2-3 people. I have one that I can tell anything and everything, and that is enough for me. Yeah. And I know I have, there was somewhere, I think it's a podcast I was listening to where they were talking about, or the question was, do you have people that you can always call in case, or how many people in your life do you have that you can now call if anything, if you need something, if anything happened? So if those are more than 2 people, you're okay.
You're rich.
Yeah. And I think in that sense, I'm rich, and I feel like I have what I need in friendship.
That is beautiful.
What about you?
I also have very few friends, but they are my go-to people. They also know me in and out. I have learned not to have secrets that I keep for myself only, because I've realized that it's very damaging when you're in the diaspora.
Yeah.
And you have secrets that are only for you. I don't do this, but I also look at, where am I taking my secrets?
Oh yes, that's very important.
Are they safe? So and all people that I call friends today are those people.
Yeah.
They're not many. I think there are 2 or 3.
But
But these are my people.
Yeah.
And I know if something happens and I call them, say, Caro, I'm in trouble.
I
know Caro will come from Shambek.
Yes.
And that is, and I'm sure about that, because it's the same thing I will do for them.
Especially when you're sure about that, because this person would do exactly the same for me.
Yeah. And that is so precious, especially in the diaspora, because there's no family here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's why the topic of friendship is so important, but also which ones and how do I keep them, and which ones do I let go of.
But you also have to actively,
cultivate.
Nurture. Yeah. This friendship.
It just doesn't grow on trees.
No. Sometimes, you have to do something actively to keep these friendships.
Yeah. It is true.
And I think you don't have to have 20 or 30 friends. If you have a few people in your life that you are really happy with, that's enough.
That's it. And tell them.
Have somebody to laugh with. That's so important. That's so important. Have 2, 3, doesn't matter. People you can just sit and just
laugh,
loll out with.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the blessings one can have.
Yeah.
So
thank you for being my friend.
Oh, thank you too, Amboy, for being this kind of friend. Not only my friend, but this kind of friend.
Yeah.
You've taught me a lot, especially listening.
So dear listeners, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And if you have a good friend for listening, you are also good listeners. And if you have that one friend, go tell them.
Appreciate them. Yeah. It's a blessing. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
A good one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.